One day, my friends and I decided to go treasure hunting with a metal detector. We chose a spot and gathered there in the evening. The area where we planned to dig was surrounded by a forested mountain. When we talked to people who had previously done treasure hunts, they mentioned that treasures like these are often protected by magic or spiritual entities. However, we thought this was just a myth and didn't take it seriously. Near the place we were digging, there was a small house where a family lived. They owned the land, and we got their permission to dig before starting. Since we didn't have many tools or proper equipment, the progress was slow. However, the family was kind enough to provide us with food and support during the process. After a few days, we managed to dig about 2-3 meters deep. That's when something strange started happening. Every time we climbed into the pit, a cat would appear at the edge of the hole and stare at us. If we tried to approach the cat, it would run away and hide behind a tree, but it would keep watching us. Whenever we resumed digging, it would start scratching the tree as if it were bothered by something. At first, we thought it was just a normal cat scared of us. But when we tried to offer it food or water, it always ran away. The strange thing was, the cat stayed there for days without eating or drinking, just watching us the entire time. This started to creep us out, but we continued digging. After a while, one of my friends said, "I'm hearing strange whispers," that made us even more uneasy, but the metal detector indicated that we were getting closer to the treasure. So we pushed forward. After a week, we had dug a hole 6-7 meters deep. But no matter how much we checked with the detector, the distance to the treasure never seemed to decrease. Then, one night while we were digging, we saw 7-8 lights coming toward us from the mountain. These lights were moving incredibly fast. At first, we thought it might be hikers, but we quickly realized it was impossible for anyone to move that fast. Scared, we started filling the hole back up and left the site in a hurry. We got into our car and drove up to the top of the mountain near the digging site to see if someone was playing a prank on us. But we saw no one. The next morning, we went back to the mountain in daylight to investigate further. That's when we realized there was no way anyone could move so quickly through such dense trees. Later, we returned to the hole we had dug and filled it completely. We spoke to the family who owned the land about what had happened. They said they had never seen anything like it before. They also mentioned that the cat only appeared after we started digging. After hearing this, we decided never to go near that area again. Last year, my friends and I went to a village to do some digging. We had received a tip that there was a valuable treasure buried in the garden of a house. An elderly couple lived in the house, and we sat down to chat with them for a while. During our conversation, the topic of the treasure came up, and suddenly, the old man looked at us with fear in his eyes. He stared at us and started muttering, "Don't do it. Don't dig. Don't. Please." We asked him why, but he didn't answer. He just kept repeating the same words. Then, his wife joined the conversation and mentioned a group of 3 friends who had come here before, looking for the same treasure. Curious, we asked what had happened to them. The old woman began to tell the story. About 4 years ago, 3 friends came here to find the treasure. For the first 2 days, everything was going well. But after that, they started hearing strange noises. Still, they ignored it and continued digging. Then, one of them tripped and fell into the hole they had dug. When he came out, he was unable to speak. Ever since that day, he lost his ability to speak. Hearing this, we felt a chill run down our spines, but we didn't take it too seriously. We told the elderly couple that we had decided to go ahead with the dig. We headed outside to start. As those who know about these things would understand, Digging usually takes place in the evening. It's illegal to dig without permission, so we wait for the cover of darkness to avoid being caught. It was around p.m. when we arrived at the spot and began our digging. After about 2–3 hours of digging, one of our friends suddenly started staring into the darkness. No matter how much we called to him, he didn't respond. We went over to him and asked what was going on, but he still wouldn't speak. When we looked into his eyes, it was as if he was listening to someone in the distance, staring ahead blankly. Eventually, he turned to us and said, "We're digging in the wrong place. We're supposed to dig further ahead." That's what they told me. We laughed, thinking he was just messing with us. But we asked, "Who told you?" At that moment, our friend started walking toward the darkness. We tried to stop him, but it was like something was pulling him forward. He led us 4–5 meters before stopping, stamping his foot on the ground and shouting, "We need to dig here." Then he took a deep breath and turned to face us. When we asked what had happened, he seemed confused and said he didn't remember anything and didn't know why he was there. He looked at us with frightened eyes. At that point, we decided not to dig any further. We gathered our things and left the site, heading back to our home. We never went near that garden again after that night.